Hi everyone, this is Felicat and today I'm gonna show you how to build a performer support tank. I'm gonna show you 3 different builds. One is for when you're hunting, one is when you're support but you have a priest with you, and one is when you're the solo support in your team. Let's start with your hunting build. So even if you're a support, you still need to do quest and CT and MA, so you still need a hunting build. This is my stat build. I mainly focus on dex, but I also add a little bit of strength and vitality. The reason why I add vitality is because I don't want to die while I'm hunting, and it gives me a little bit of defense and HP. However, you can also choose to go full dex and STR if you feel that you are strong enough. Now I'm gonna show you my skills. So we're gonna start with the hunting preset. We're gonna go to the first job. First job is not very important. You're not gonna use the attack skills later on, so you're just gonna focus on the passive skills. And it's up to you to take double strife or arrow shower. For the second job, I'm gonna take amp and encore first. It's gonna prolong the duration of your attack skills. Next, you're gonna wanna take hip shaker and also throw arrow. You might notice that I took gypsy kiss, which is a support skill. But then sometimes I'm not strong enough to fight against higher level mobs. That's why I need to heal myself when I'm hunting. Next up is fantasy music. It gives you extra P damage, so that's gonna help you while you're hunting monsters. For the transcendent second job, these are my skills. First, I took the dance mastery. It gives you increased P damage, as well as other buffs, which is all passive, so it's always good to have. Now, while I did not take Arrow Vulcan, I did however take Final Rhapsody. This is because Final Rhapsody is an AoE skill, whereas Arrow Vulcan is only single target even though it has a farther range. So I am quite satisfied with the throw arrow, but you can choose to take Arrow Vulcan if you want to. Now I'm going to show you how I set my auto and manual skill settings. So for my auto settings, I put in all my attack skills first, but you might notice that I put resurrect and also my gypsy kiss in here. That's just in case I need to heal myself or I need to resurrect a friend. You can also put in other support skills such as battle theme and singing voice so that you have higher damage and are tankier during your hunts. So I'm gonna show you battle theme. It's gonna increase your P attack. So that's gonna help, and also singing voice increases your basic P def. So I don't really care much for the manual of this preset because while you're hunting, you're usually AFK. But you can choose to put in your important skills together if you want to. Next, I'm gonna show you my support status build. In here, I'm going full tank with max vitality, and second is intelligence. And I'm gonna show you the reason behind this. So the reason I chose vitality is because it gives you a lot of HP, P def, M def, and recovery. For intelligence, it gives you extra M def and also variable casting time reduction. An alternative is you can choose to upgrade your dexterity instead. It's also quite good because it increases your P attack and decreases your skill fixed casting time reduction. You can see that it also gives you a slight raw M def stat, so that's also quite good. But I'm gonna show you guys real quick the difference in your status when you choose between intelligence and dexterity. So I'm gonna open a new preset here to show you guys how your status would be different. Let's increase the dexterity at 20 points. You're gonna have a lower casting time by 6.99%, and your MDef is gonna increase by 4. On the other hand, if you choose to increase your intelligence, your MDef is gonna increase by 20 points, and your variable cast time will decrease by 9.9%. Moving on to the skill build. Now for my support build, I have 2, which is one when you're with a priest in your team, and another one when you're the only support in your team. Now let's look at the support with priest build. So first job is not very important. We're gonna move on to second job. This is my second job skills. Always take amp and your encore. Amp increases your gypsy kiss skill, whereas encore will make your skill last longer, which means you have longer time healing your team. Since you're using this build when you're with a priest, you don't need singing voice because it does not stack with the priest skill of Angelus. Your main job is going to be healing Gypsy Kiss, which is affected by your P attack. And that's why I take dance lessons, because it's a passive that increases your P attack. Another important skill is the fantasy music. It will increase your healing done. And this is a passive skill, which means it's always on. Next up, I also took Dazzler, which can stun enemies when I'm doing PvP. We're also taking Slow Grace, which can slow down the enemies. You can take Lady Luck if someone in your team is using critical attacks. However, I do not choose Lullaby because it is a duo performance skill, and usually you don't have another performer with you in the same team. Now let's move on to the second Transcendent Job skills. Obviously, since we're a support, we're gonna take the Resurrection skill. We're also gonna take Dance Mastery. It gives you a lot of buffs passively, and these buffs will help you to not die. Since I have the mind of a support, I also pick Puppet Master Trick because it buffs my teammates. The last two important skills that you need to take is the Curtain Call and the Joyful Notes. Curtain Call will allow you to dash. Joyful Notes will remove any CCs that you have on you. Now, there is a lot of duo performance skills that I do not take because my team does not have another performer. So even though the duo performance skills are quite useful, I'm just not taking them, and these are the duo performance skills that I'm not taking. If you want to force it, you can choose to take Puppet Dance, which allows you to do a duo performance with a puppet, but I do not recommend it because it decreases your HP a lot in the middle of a fight. The last skill is Battle Theme, which we're not going to take because it does not stack with the priest's skills. And be careful, because you're gonna start spamming this skill if you're gonna clash it with the priest's skills. On a side note, you can choose to take Arrow Vulcan to proc the enemies. So when you have more skill points later, you can upgrade your Throw Arrow, which is the prerequisite, to take Arrow Vulcan. Real quick, you can use cards like Savage Babe to stun the enemies using Arrow Vulcan. This will really help your team also during battle fights. There are also other cards that you can use, such as the Familiar card, which is to blind the enemies, or the Skeleton card, it's also going to stun the enemies. Magnolia will curse the enemies. But moving on, let's go to the skill settings. So in the auto settings, this is the skills that I'm going to use. But personally, I like to use the Dazzler in the manual settings instead of the auto. Here, I'm going to rearrange the skills a little bit so it's easier for myself to click on the skills that I want. Currently, I only have enough skills for one page in the manual settings. Now, I know a lot of you are solo support, so let's build it together, guys. First job is always the same. We're gonna take these skills. It's not gonna change much. For the second job, we're always going to take Amp and Encore. But now we're also going to take Singing Voice and Gypsy Kiss for healing. Fantasy Music always also to increase the healing. Now we're gonna need to spend 5 more skill points in the second job. My personal favorite is the Dazzler because I can stun enemies. So we're just gonna add that to 5. However, you can also choose to take Slow Grace. I think it's a pretty good debuff to chase the enemies instead of Dazzler. So Dazzler is only a chance, while Slow Grace will definitely slow down your enemies. We can now move on to the second Transcendent job. We're gonna take the Dance Mastery, the Death Valley also, Battle Theme because we don't have a priest. But since we don't have job level 40 yet, and we only have 1 skill point, when we need these 2 skills. Temporarily, we're gonna remove 1 point from Battle Theme, and we're going to add it to your Curtain Call and your Joyful Notes. Now for the skill settings. In my auto settings, I like to always put the Resurrection skill in the first order. Now we're just gonna throw this useless skill away. But then the important skills is the healing and the buffs. We're gonna speed it up, so this is the order in which I like to cast my skills. But you guys can change it however you want. Manual skill settings is also quite important. Now the 2 skills that you have to use is the Joyful Notes and the Curtain Call. Personally, I also like to put the Resurrection skill in my manual settings, so if I want to manually pick who I want to resurrect, I can click on that. Now, you can also choose to use the skill of singing voice and battle theme manually instead of in the auto settings. Because these two skills last quite long. Battle theme is 90 seconds and singing voice is 600 seconds. But it's preference, guys, so it's up to you. Now, for the guild skills, I always use the same for all my builds. First priority is the defense, second is the HP, third is the attack, and you can also choose to level up your pet HP. These are the pets that I use. The two most important ones are Child of Earth and the other one is King Piggy. So these two pets have a special skill in which they will take the damage for you. I also recommend using Squidget because it has a special skill of increasing your allies' damage during MVPs or dungeons. Moving on to mounts. So for mount traits, I like to level it up evenly and I don't like to use Wild Kiwi, so I use Sunshine Kiwi by combining 5 Wild Kiwis together. So you guys can just click on Auto Train and choose the total progress increase for even combining. For medals, I'm not increasing anything yet. So my bravery is level 1, it only increases a little bit of attack. I also don't like heroism or the wisdom medal. We're gonna wait for the medal of charm because it increases your damage reduction and also medal of tempest. Many of you might not be sure on how to build your feather, so I'm gonna show you mine. So we have limited amounts of feathers available to us for now, which is why we're only gonna use 2 orange feathers on our attack and 3 purple feathers to go along with it. Now we're gonna go all in on our defense feathers. Again, we are a support tank. Definitely use the dark feather instead of the light, divine and nature, night feather, as well as soul tier. The reason we use the dark feather is because of the damage reduction we get from it. This is the status that I want to chase instead of my PvP damage reduction stat, since it is nerfed in ROOC. It's better to look for raw stats like PDEF, MDEF, which we also get from the night feather. I also like the soul feather because it gives me PDEF and MDEF. Even in your attack feathers, it's good to find stats that give you more defense. This is the reason why I chose the Faith feather. It gives me ENT, which again gives me extra MDEF and reduced casting time. Glory for Dex, which increases our attack and therefore our healing. Other than that, you can also choose the mixed feathers, which is my third purple feather. It's called the Justice feather, which gives you PDEF and P attack. If you are new to the game, there's a reason why I build it like this. So there is a set bonus for the colors of the feather that you're gonna use. With our limited resources, we're gonna choose the 3 purple and 2 orange feathers on our attack. But if you go over to the defense feathers, you'll see that the set bonus has an extra PvP bonus stat on it. It doesn't apply if you only use 3 orange and 2 purple. You need to use the 4 orange and 1 purple feather. I'm gonna show you guys the different kinds of feathers available to you in the feather shop. In the mix section, you can see the light feather, which also gives you PvP damage reduction. But currently we are not using it because we don't have enough white feathers. There's also an order and a truth feather. This is very good, but it costs a lot in sacred feathers. You can use this feather if you are the kind that buys 6 times bounty pass per week. I think it's okay, and you can replace it with one of my other purple feathers. On a side note, I want to tell you guys that I only topped up $5 for the Radiant Pass. There's also the Sky and Terra feather, which I don't really recommend because I think the stats in it is not as good for the price. You can basically buy 3 soul feathers for the price of 1 Sky and Terra. Don't forget to set your Divine Armament build, so it's legendary for the whip, as well as Goipna for your armor set. You can use Tier if you want higher healing, but I use Goipna so that I am more tanky. But when you're doing MA or CT, you can choose the fire set for your weapon to give you more attack firepower. Hopefully you guys are still with me. Now we're gonna move on to the last bit, which is what cards you're gonna use in your equipment. We're gonna filter out and choose the rarity for all types, but we're gonna choose our main hand, which is our whip. Other than the proc cards that I showed you before, you can choose to use Fabre. It's quite good if you want to be more tanky. But if you want to focus more on healing, I suggest you use the Andre card, which gives you increased P attack. You have 2 slots for cards in your weapon, and you can use the Golem card for the other slot because it has an active status of making your weapon indestructible, which is really good if you're fighting against a biochemist that destroy weapons. Next up is our offhand, which is our shield. I'm gonna show you guys the easier cards to get first. So for now, if you don't have a purple card, you might choose to use cards like Megalodon. It gives you extra HP. You can also use the Muna card. It's not bad. The Argos card is also a good choice because it gives you max HP and intelligence. Temporarily, I also recommend you guys to take the Illusion Tara Frog card from the guild shop. But of course, the best card in your offhand shield will be the actual Tara Frog card. But it's a purple card, so it's harder to get. However, it gives huge damage reduction to demi-humans, and even the Awakening gives you extra damage reduction. Next up is your armor card. For the armor card, I think that the best possible card that you can use is actually the Angeling MVP card, because this card makes your armor element becoming holy. It will reduce almost all kinds of damage to you. But obviously, we don't have an MVP Angeling card with us right now, so we're gonna use normal blue cards. Like Steel Chonchon, for example, it gives you extra HP. If you're lucky enough to find a purple element card, you can try using that in your armor. I think some people use converters while they're PvPing. Ghost String card, also excellent, but again, we don't have it. So my recommendation to you guys for now, you can choose to use Steel Chonchon or even Savage. Another choice is also Peko Peko. It just raises your HP the most. And the last recommendation I can give is the Cornutus card because it has a side effect of making your armor indestructible. So for the Cloak card, we're gonna choose the easier to get cards. For now, I'm even using Condor because I don't have enough cards. Eclipse is a good choice if it's available on the store trade, but I recommend you to use Choco, which you can get from the Union store. By the way guys, if you don't know, you can get unions by assisting other people after you've done your dailies. So I'm gonna show you guys real quick. It costs 4,000 unions. You can get about 1,000 per day. Another alternative other than those cards is the elemental card resistance. So for example, it's Dustiness or the Mars card. Orc Baby is also good, but it's a purple card and hard to get. For the shoes card, for now, you guys can wear either the Ferret card or the Sohe card because these two cards give you percentage max HP. Don't worry too much about the shoes card because on the 7th day of your login, you're gonna get the MVP Moonlight card for free. Oh, quickly before I forget guys, you'll also get the Illusion Angeling Armor card for free on your 5th day login. For your accessory, I recommend between your Wormtail and your Spore card. So Wormtail and Spore card, when you awaken it, you get damage reduction. But if you're not going for tanky and you want more for healing, then you can also get the Vitata card. You can get extra healing done from awakening it. Illusion Osiris card is also great. It basically gives you a second life. Headwear cards, I really recommend either Marduk or Deviruchi because they give you immunity to certain types of crowd control that people usually use. Though if you don't have those cards right now, you can choose to wear the Lape Oh My card and you can buy it from the trade store. There's not a lot of options for the other costume cards. Facewear, I recommend the Rose Ornament. You can get it from the special blue card shop. However, you can also get the Baby Pacifier as an alternative for the mouthwear. but I really recommend either Angeling or Doppelganger puppet that you can get from the trade shop if it's available during snap time. For the backwear, I recommend you guys choose either the Golden Thief Buck puppet card or the Drake puppet card. They both give damage reduction, just different kinds. Whether it's P damage or M damage, it's up to you. For the costume card, there's basically only one choice, which is the Baphomet, but even then it's usually not available during snap time. I'm gonna show you guys how to bookmark the card so you can instantaneously see it, whether it's available, the cards that you want or not, during snap time. So snap time is basically when the card market is refreshed, and you're gonna have to click as fast as you can to get the cards that you want before it goes out of stock. And that's it for the complete guide to being a tank support dancer, guys. For those of you who are still listening to me rambling on, thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video helps you understand on how to build your character more. But if you still have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you on the next one.